Thank you. Thank you very much. I know there are so many things you can, with surface deformation, of course, very important, you can extend it to that. But it's important, but unfortunately the time is limited. So we have time for one question. If there's one question, yeah, we are happy to. So I have one question. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I will talk. The 1 billion question. No, you describe the standards ST, SA, and so on. Examples, the Viscoelasic standards. Of course, there might be some patent rights problems to include them in the standards. So, what are your experience in the short question? What is the status to bring them into the standards?
Yeah, first of all, in America, we are a member of the search prep committee. We had a big meeting on a Monday, 100 people in the room. The big question there. First of all, service profile is very important because they want to get levels of profile from 1 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil, 4 mil. So that's one thing. So we work on these standards, and then the ISO level, there will be a M class, MA class. So it will be MA1, MA2, MA2.5, MA3. Same picture, same distinction as for SA, but MA means powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah. Right. Okay, thank you, Fritz.
Thank
you. So now I'm happy to introduce the last speaker of the session, Mr. Hamad Al-Badai. He's coming from Saudi Arabia. Very nice to have you here. He's the CEO of the Dalal Alma trading company, and yeah, you're a master of material science and engineering, and your experience in coating, I think, in 20, 30 years and more. And it's a pleasure to have you here. The floor is yours. Yeah?
Thank you. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, I welcome you all to this presentation. And I hope you will find it beneficial. Before I start, we Muslims have 2 holidays. One of them is today. So I missed the celebration of the holiday at home with family and traveled for 7 hours just to give this 20 minutes. So it just should show you how important this topic to myself. You might know that Saudi Arabia is known by oil production, but also it produced the best quality dates fruit. And I encourage you to try it. And fast. Now to my presentation. Backward, okay. Do coating testing procedure simulate real operating conditions? The answer is not always. Example of this is viscoelastic coating, where I believe that it doesn't. And I believe that viscoelastic coating are designed to pass the test, not to perform well on site. And I prove that. Overview. I'll talk about accelerated life test, then viscoelastic material and their behavior, time and temperature effect on viscoelastic material behavior, polymer glass transition temperature, viscoelastic coating performs differently at laboratory than in real condition. Data sheets are misleading, example of failures. And I'll put this material is called silly putty. It's a kid's play that is made from the same material that viscoelastic coating are made, and I'll come to this. I just leave it because you will find it sagging within the presentation. I quote from Mr. Toshiyo Yamamoto from Test Navi Lab, their website. He said he defined accelerated life test as accelerating the failure mechanism by using conditions that are more severe than the standard condition, and by utilizing, and I highlighted this, systematic nature exists between the standard condition and the accelerated condition in the identical mode of failure. it has to fail at the same mode. So the accelerated life test prerequisites are both the standard condition and the accelerated conditions must have the same failure mode. The failure mechanism should be same. And second, a systematic relationship. Here's example of relation between variable and the resultant feature. The green one is a straight line relationship. So if we find the relation here, we can extrapolate the result up. But for the other lines, we cannot neither extrapolate nor interpolate because the relation is not directly proportional. For steel, now, what is viscoelastic coating? Visco from viscosity or viscous, elastic from elasticity, which is a solid property. So when we, for example, bring a small tiny powder and mix it with the liquid, we get a viscoelastic material. Like, for example, wheat flour wheat dough or clay or toothpaste. These are all called viscoelastic material. Now, in solids, we can extrapolate. Once we know the point here and we know the Young modulus, we know the resultant in other points. So we have, for example, this might be for steel. This might be steel, this might be aluminum or ceramic, steel, aluminum, and this is plastic. Now we can extrapolate for these because the relation is direct proportional. For plastic, when it passes the yield point, we cannot. That material has a phase change. It changes. The failure mode, it changes from elastic failure to brittle failure. Now, for liquids, we know this might be for the blue one is water, the red one is the oil, then this is honey. Each material in the visco material has its own viscosity, and this viscosity is constant. So we can extrapolate. Now, viscoelastic material is new. By combining solid and liquid, we have a new material that neither solid nor liquid. And they behave in a three different ways. The first way is what's called Pingham plastic, where you need an initial force, after that it flows like fluid. And I think example of this is grease or maybe mayonnaise. The other type is this, which is called pseudoplastic, and they also call it shear thinning because it thins with shear. Example of this is mortar. When we mix concrete with water, this is why when we want to transport concrete, we put it in a rotating drum truck to keep the shear low, so we can bump it once we reach the site. This is why here you see that. This is why you see the slope drops. The third material, which is our concern today, is the dilatant material or shear thickening. And example of this is viscoelastic coating. Example of this also mixed starch with water, and I'm sure you have seen that in videos where people run on the starch and without sinking. Once they stop, they sink. Example of this is this kids game where it bonds because of high velocity and low time, and it sags like liquid at low speed. And if I put it here, you will find it will reach the floor after some time. Now, this is exactly what you are applying to your pipeline. It is this material here where with time it strengthens. Professor Thomas Brunel in Queensland University, he made a composition that when he hammer with a hammer, it scatters like ceramic. But when he put it in a boat, or it gives you a drip every 9 years. You don't want to coat your pipeline with a material that will drip in 9 years. Only by gravity it gives you a drip every 9 years. When he hammer it, it scratches like glass. And when he put it in it sack. Now, scientists try to simulate the viscoelastic material because they consist of solid part and liquid part. The liquid part is simulated by a spring and a dashpot in series, and the solid part in parallel. And because it is combination of both, it looks like this. This is the simplest way of simulation of the viscoelastic material. Now, I hope this will run some.
Spring and dashpot model. The spring represents the elastic behavior of the polymer.
Higher.
The elastic portion of the model acts as a meddle and has fully removable spring. The dashpot represents the viscous behavior of the polymer. The viscous portion of the model acts as a fluid and has unrecoverable spring. One way to understand the spring and dashpot model is by examining the behavior of the system with a suspended load. A graph of deformation and time helps you understand the mechanics of the system. The first component of the model is a spring. When a weight is added to the spring, an immediate deformation is observed.
So this is the elastic part.
All of the elastic deformation is recovered.
It's all recovered.
The second portion of the model involves a spring and dashpot in parallel. The spring portion of the system cannot immediately be formed because the viscous component slows it down. Therefore, the deformation takes place over a period of time.
And you see how it finally
The deformation recovery of the spring is slowed by the dashpot.
recovers.
The third component of the model is the dashpot. The dashpot flows while the weight is applied to the system. When the weight is removed from the system, none of the viscous component is recovered. To fully understand the model, the three components must be superimposed. When the weight is applied, the system undergoes an immediate deformation due to the spring component. The second component, with the spring and dashpot in parallel, produces a deformation over time. The viscous deformation of the third component is added to the second component. This results in a model of the behavior of the lotus system over time. Deformation of the spring and dashpot is recovered over time.
This is a permanent deformation of the material. Permanent deformation with time. What does that mean? That means that material will have a portion of it permanently deformed. Okay, can you remove this? This is the curve, the figure that was shown here. This is my concern. The liquid part of the material that will make a permanent sag of the material with time. This depends on the liquid part of the viscoelastic material. If it is large, this will be large. The sagging will be large. If it is small, it will be small. So we have a viscoelastic solid or semi-solid. There is no solid, but it is semi-solid, where the liquid part or the series part is very small. And we have a viscoelastic liquid or semi-liquid, whereas the solid part is very small. This liquid will sag to zero, that means fully sagging of the material with time. Where did this material reach? With time it will sag. This is the viscoelastic coating. Okay, now as I said before, if this is large, it is called viscoelastic liquid. If the parallel part is large, it's called viscoelastic solid. Now this is time effect on viscoelastic coating. I'll talk about temperature effect, which is my concern in my Middle East, where our ambient temperature rarely go to below 20. Now in the glass transition temperature, we have here glassy region here. For viscoelastic coating, it is minus 65 degrees. Then we have a sharp drop to a rubbery state, and none of the viscoelastic coating manufacturer declare what is the temperature range of this rubbery state. They will never declare. And it will start melting, sagging, and they will never, I beat you, they will never tell you what's their melting temperature, because it is within their operating temperature. Now this is an example, a data sheet from one of these manufacturers. You see here, he said that minus 45 degree, the peel test is higher than 3 Newton per millimeter, which is very good, very good. Once we drop to 23 degree, go up to 23 degree, the adhesion goes to less than 10% of the original value. It goes to 0.2. And when you go to 70, it goes to ketchup. It's ketchup. At 70, it is ketchup 0.02. You are coating. Aramco is coating their material with ketchup. See here, they say cohesive separation mode 99%. If you put a ketchup between 2 slices of bread and split it, it will have 99% cohesive failure, because the adhesion is so weak. It's ketchup. In my region, it might be in Siberia, in Alaska, in Moscow, works very fine, minus 45 degrees, but not in my country. This is their real test. Now the data sheet template, catalytic displacement resistance. Because the material sag, they claim that it is 0 displacement because it sags again. And the real truth is about 13 millimeter at our ambient temperature. This is surface healing. Of course it will heal. If it is liquid or semi-liquid, it will heal. And this is, see here, this is their data sheet. So at minus 45 degree, the adhesion strength is 3 Newton, and it will heal in 90 days, which is very good. But once you go to 23, it heals in 1 day. In 1 day, what does that mean? Now they are very ashamed to say that it will heal here in half an hour or 3 minutes. So they say less than 1 day. This is tempering. It heals in few minutes. What does this tell you? It passes their melting temperature. Failure examples. This is in Rispon, Ecuador, premix site. It sagged in 22 days. Here it drips like liquid due to humidity. This picture, I took it myself. This is my mobile phone. Sagged in Shuaiba project in Saudi Arabia. Here in Petroleum Development Oman, because the pipeline is inclined, so the protective layer of PVC they providing is protecting it from outer stretch and radial. But compression, it sags. It wrinkled because the pipeline is inclined. It sags. It sags. Gentlemen, see. It sags. So, conclusion. Data collected on accelerated tests for viscoelastic coating do not reflect their real performance on pipeline, because viscoelastic material behavior is neither directly proportional, nor with time and temperature, nor predictable. I believe myself there is a phase change happens to the material within the declared operating temperature, and you cannot use accelerated test if there is phase change. Data sheet of viscoelastic coating are ambiguous and misleading. They should indicate their melting temperature, as this characteristic show whether the material is semi-solid or semi-liquid, depending on how far their operating range from this point. They should operate way below this point. This vital information like adhesion, catalytic disbandment, and self-healing mentioned on data sheet are deceptive. viscoelastic coating available in the market are semi-liquid and are not suitable to be used for pipe coating because they sag with time everywhere except in very cold climate, as they are very sensitive to temperature. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed, for this interesting presentation, interesting aspects. I think there are some questions, probably. Please.
I'd like to react, Ahmed, because I feel first of all, thank you that you are here all the way for the holidays of the Leeds. But I feel like a criminal now as
I'm
as a patent owner of Stonepark, on behalf of Stonepark, as a former CEO, to see this, because I was really shocked in the beginning. That because I had no clue it was about Stonepark. I thought it was about Viscoelasic.
both.
Both. Yeah. But I think this is not. I have never seen this. I don't know what you talk about. I have no clue. I have no clue. If you know what Stonepark really is, the ingredient, I have no clue about that. So I really would recommend that somebody from Stonepark can do an.
I am very shocked how ISO is putting an annex for viscoelastic coating after this. This is obvious. This is basic engineering.
If I can, sorry.
Personal opinion,
I mean,
somebody from Stonepark should be at.
No, I mean, I don't think they should, but just viscoelasticity is a behavior. And you have many polymers. Obviously, not putting ketchup on the pipe.
Can you speak louder?
Viscoelasticity is a behavior, right? And we have many materials here that can behave. Butyl rubbers to ketchup. Obviously, we made a big choice what materials we're going to use on the pipe to stop. And those materials have different properties and behaviors. That silly putty has nothing to do with the product you try to present over there. Just like the tapes, butyl rubber-based materials, what has that got to do with those things? If you want to talk viscoelasticity, let's not forget that steel is viscoelastic, and yet we don't expect it to melt in the field.
No, there is. Here I talk about operating range. You don't compare your material to steel at 1,700 degrees. We are talking about operating range of temperature, operating range of time. This material is very good at an instant of time. I do want it to be it's good for for my kid, but not for my pipeline who are supposed to stay for 50 years. Now I beat you that all these viscoelastic coating at Aramco will fail within 10 years. I challenge.
But let me understand. First of all, like we discussed, viscoelastic is a big term.
Right.
Right? Right. Butyl rubbers to water, right? So which one are you?
I'm talking about range of temperature, and range of time.
Are you specific here to viscoelastic behavior and different types of polymers, or are you specific here to a brand? I have a feeling you are specific to a brand here.
Yeah, to all the brands I know. I think there is 3 brands. 2 are already in the market. 1 is in the going.
Denso, Kebu, Viscotec, you name it. We're all here.
Within their range of temperature. Can you tell me what's the melting temperature of your brand? You cannot. You will never declare. They will fire you once you tell.
I don't know. I don't know the same chemistry. Is it the same chemistry for all the?
I don't know. I'm a field engineer. I don't have a laboratory. I'm not a scientist. I'm a field engineer. Okay. I have a very good basic engineering knowledge. I'm a master's degree in material science, and I'm working with this external coating since more than 10 years now.
Okay, one last question. This
Thanks for the presentation. I'm not from German.
Can you speak louder? Yes. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Okay.
Thanks again for the presentation. My name is Antosh, I'm from Lebanon. I look after gas network within Sydney area in New South Wales. My question, one of the photos you have seen, show us, I think it looks like it's, if I'm not wrong, it's a stock pipeline. The pipeline, is it above ground or underground?
No, underground.
The one on the left-hand side.
This one?
Yes.
No, this is before installation. This is before installation. Due to sun rays, heat of sun, they replaced it with another material. I installed the other material.
Because the dripping.
Well, I don't use the word dripping. I use the word sagging.
Okay, that's what's within the ISO. So there is a limit. The material will start dripping.
Yeah,
exceed that temperature.
If the material drip in the laboratory, it will sag at site. At site, you are supposed, the material is supposed to stay for 50 years, 20 years at least. I bet you, if these gentlemen give you a 10 years warranty. Is that enough? Unless you are in Siberia, Alaska, Moscow,
I think
Scandinavian countries.
It depends on where you are operating. If the ground temperature within, let's say, 15 to 25 degrees, it will perform.
No, where are you? At 23 degrees, the adhesion goes to 0.2. 0.2. That means it will sag due to soil movement. This is the data sheet.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think afterwards Hamid will be available for
Yeah,
further
my
discussions.
business card is here.
Yeah. So it was an interesting talk. He had also the talks before. I have to say thank you to all the presentators. And now, yeah, it's time for having a break. It's lunchtime, and what I wish to you is a further ongoing successful TCC, and hope to see you back next year again in the coding session. Yeah, thank you.
I don't want to take this with me home. Hamid. Abdullah. I'm not going to Abdullah has I have the host.
What do you suggest?
Solid.